We serve as advisors to large-scale social innovation organizations around the country and CEOs and entrepreneurs who want to increase their impact on the world. So I think it's an easy thing to ask people what the most significant moment in their life is, but for me, I really don't think of my life in terms of, single moments. I really think of my life in terms of a progression of experiences that has led me to the place that I am today. And there have been really pivotal moments along the way that have sort of shifted my trajectory. And I've had 4 or 5 of those that have been really meaningful. But I can't point to one single thing beyond the obvious answer of, meeting my husband and starting a family. But, those are really, in some ways, also part of this whole life continuum that I think has sort of led me to this place. I'm not a person who naturally seeks out, excitement in the traditional sense. I get most engaged and moved by big action. And I've been privileged to be, part of a lot of things over, my life where I've been able to have a big impact on something or move something forward in a significant way. And that's in my personal life and in my professional life. I think there's a real kind of organizing principle increasingly in our society today where it's about like excitement and short attention span kind of stuff. And and I just come from kind of a different place, which is, that to me it's really exciting when something you've worked your ass off at for a really long period of time happens and moves the needle in a meaningful way. And that's not like a jump up and down moment. It's a like, wow, we did it moment. And so that's what's exciting to me. I think that on a more micro level, there are certainly those little wins that happen over time. There are moments as a parent. I think, perhaps one of the most exciting things that anyone I know goes through who's a parent is when your child accomplishes something, and that, really gives you this sort of different sense of excitement than you get perhaps even from your own accomplishments. But again, I get most jazzed by the really sort of long-term, big moving the needle kinds of progress that, again, I've been lucky enough to be part of at different points along the way in my life. I am working now mostly on the kinds of things that I'd really like to do. And that comes with being, over 50 and having reached a point where I've paid my dues doing a lot of the stuff over time that I didn't love doing. I think that's part and parcel of growing up and recognizing that, every job you're going to have is going to have stuff you love and stuff you hate, and, figuring out how to learn to appreciate the value of the stuff that you don't like, I think is a real sign of growing up. Took me a while, takes most people I know a while. But now I am at a point where I am largely working on the things that I enjoy working on, because there's sort of an accumulation of my experiences professionally. So I really at all levels, in some ways, kind of changing the world, making the world a fairer, more equitable place, and doing that not within the context of something like a nonprofit, but working on sort of large-scale initiatives or with people who can have a big impact in ways that I hope can be, significant accelerators, not sort of incremental change. I'm sort of past that point in my career where I want to move forward in small steps. I'm really now at the place where I want to see big leaps happen. And so when I think about what I want to do, I want to be part of, sort of step function moves ahead. And so the kinds of projects that I'm involved in and that I seek out are projects that have that kind of potential. And they won't all work, and that's fine too, but that's the sort of stuff that I really want to do right now. I actually love the shift concept because I probably wasn't using that word a lot, but that is how I have how I've sort of lived my career. Even within the long period of time that I was sort of immersed in the corporate world, 17 years as an investment banker, within that, I was in a place that was pretty entrepreneurial, and I was very freed up to start 2 new groups, to reform processes or approaches to how we were doing things. Had a stint in management. So I had a lot of different shifts within even that, much more traditional framework. And since I've been out of the corporate world, each of the steps I've taken, both as an entrepreneur and then now as an advisor, I've done that by sort of finding the pieces of the thing I was doing before that I liked the most and where I felt like I could add the most value, and sort of shifting into that lane on a more, sort of targeted way, and with focus. And that so it's constant shifting. But then when I'm for a period of time, I kind of try to push fast and hard down that path, and then figure out kind of what's next. And so to me, I think the most exciting careers are built when you sort of see the value of your ability to continually learn from what you're doing and keep kind of fine-tuning your focus, kind of keep shifting toward that place where you think you can have the most impact. And I think in terms of the group itself, I came to it from a different place because I'm a little more seasoned than some of the people in the group. I'm a little older, but part of what I've really appreciated about it, and is something I've learned through the course of my career, which is that I've found that the most learning comes when you surround yourself very intentionally with people who have both much more and much less experience than you have, because the people with a lot more experience can sort of help you avoid mistakes, but people with less experience can really help you see opportunities that you might not see otherwise. And so I've been very intentional about that the last, particularly the last 10 years, to seek out opportunities to collaborate sort of up and down the age spectrum or the experience spectrum. And that's, for me, been something that I found really rewarding and important in my own progress. I know some people at my stage might feel like, you can only be with certain kinds of people. That's just not how I see the world. I really find that it's incredibly valuable to be thinking about who knows a lot more and who sees the world, differently because, in a way, because of the fresher eyes of their less experience. And so I think that's a real opportunity that, that I've taken advantage of and think is important to my learning. I think in a way my greatest hope for the world is something that's going to sound, both big and small at the same time. I drive down the street, living in a city like Baltimore, I drive down the street every day, and I'm all over the city just because of my work and some of the things that I do, and I see so many people whose lives are determined by the zip code in which they were born. And my greatest hope, I guess, for the world is that someday that won't be the determinant of your future.